What's up everyone, Sinister Dragon here, and today we're going to be looking at the Terra-Master F2 NAS. Alright guys, let's just jump right into this. What do I think about the NAS? The quick and dirty truth of it all is that I've enjoyed using it. I think it is a great NAS, especially for the price point and what it's aiming to do. This is a NAS, this is for budget-friendly NAS meant for the first foray into using a network attached storage device. This doesn't have all the advanced features, but it has the correct amount of features and the features that people are looking for. So this has a web server built into it, so you could host your own web service using this. Has an FTP client, a BitTorrent client. It's a universal media client as well. It has Samba share as well as Mac and Linux shares. This is a device that has compatibility across many different types of computer types and media devices. This is your personal cloud storage, and this is what this is aiming for. It's a 2-bay drive. It allows for single disk JBOB, RAID 1 and RAID 0 configurations in the NAS. Now, my personal recommendation, as well as Terra-Master's, is that you either get a Seagate NAS ready drive or a Western Digital Red drive. These drives are meant to be on 24/7. Their sole purpose, they're built just for applications in a NAS, which is on 24/7 and it rarely gets powered down. So these hard drives are meant for that, and I definitely recommend doing that. Right now on my NAS, I have a green drive. Now that is my bottleneck right now. So I am personally though seeing a good performance out of the NAS. Now let's talk about the performance. This is a 10100/1000 NAS, so it does have gigabit LAN. I have a gigabit router, everything's gigabit, but I'm using everything wireless in my house. Now, with that, I'm getting around 9 megabyte per second read and write speeds onto my hard drives, which is actually really good considering that my bottleneck is a green drive, which is a slower drive. It's not meant for this application, but it is performing good. I can see using a NAS ready drive that you will get great performance, not the best, but great performance out of the F2. The applications that this can be handled is perfect on the performance that it's delivering. It's meant for just a personal cloud storage. It's not meant to handle, tens and hundreds of clients. This is for a family. This is a family ready NAS, and this definitely handles all the situations that are thrown at it. I've had multiple clients reading to it and writing it to it simultaneously, and the Terra-Master F2 was able to handle everything very smoothly. Lastly, let's talk about the quality of the NAS itself. So the case is aluminum. The whole thing is made out of aluminum, which is perfect. This enables it to be light as well as deliver cooling capabilities to the NAS. And it has a fan on the back to pull out all the hot air from the hard drives, to allow your hard drives to run longer and to extend the life of your hard drives and hardware. I really enjoyed dealing with the F2 NAS. It was a pleasure to use. I use it daily to handle all my video tasks, so it's being used daily. I upload via FTP and read via Samba. I definitely recommend the Terra-Master F2. Its build quality is phenomenal. its performance is good, but it's great for the application that the F2 is aiming for as a family NAS, as your first foray into a NAS, as a home user. This is fantastic. And it's quiet. It is quiet. You could put this next to your router and you'll barely hear it. It's got a variable speed fan, so high, medium, low. I barely notice it when it's running, and that is perfect. This has all the capabilities and features of a NAS that a family is going to want and need. The Terra-Master F2 NAS. Stick around for a brief overlook of the software side of the F2 NAS. Alright everyone, so when you log in to your NAS, your Terra-Master NAS, this is what you are greeted with. You have a file manager, a download center, control panel, storage manager, backup, TCloud, system status, and help. Alright, so first off, with the file manager, you can browse all your drives that you have on the NAS itself, as well as upload and download whatever that you want from the NAS. Anyways, so let's continue on to the download center. What is the download center? Well, I don't have it enabled right now, but this allows you to have the NAS download torrents for Linux operating systems because it's faster than FTP. This is a peer-to-peer BitTorrent client that is living in your Terra-Master NAS. So if this is something that you are interested in, you can have it here. You can even remotely set up BitTorrent downloads using a port number, which is pretty awesome. That's kind of cool. So going through the control panel, you have some general settings, your system port, your device name, setting it up on your network. So here you have different. I enabled variable speed on the fans. Some of the cooler things is if you ever have a power outage, you can have the system turn off or stay off, or you could turn the server on automatically when it detects the power is plugged in. You could have a buzzer for when it shuts down and turns on. You can enable scheduling to turn it off and on. It's pretty intuitive. You have notifications on how when people logged in, and you have firmware upgrades. Then you have a whole user management. You can have multiple users. You could set a quota for each individual user if you wanted to share your NAS with family members in the house. Have your own personal Dropbox for your family. You can have that and set quotas individually for each user. You can have certain folders restricted depending on the user or the user group. There's a lot of user management utilities. You can have a user be an FTP user, so that user comes in, is only available one folder, but they can FTP into your NAS and upload files remotely without going through your TCloud. Some of the network services. So you have Samba. So Windows computers will be able to discover your NAS on the network and be able to move files, read files, everything that you need to be done from the network. You also have the same capabilities via Apple networking and NFS, which is Mac and Linux, sort of the same features that Samba does for Windows. It just allows you to discover the NAS while it is on the same network as the device. You can set up an FTP server on your NAS, so you can use an FTP client, log onto your NAS, upload whatever you need to the NAS as well. You can also telnet and SSH into it, and you can have your NAS run as a web server. What does that mean? You can host your own website via the NAS. Now, the only thing with that is you got to keep in mind that the processor memory are not the highest quality. So if you have a very high traffic website, it's not going to work that well. But if you're just creating a website to show your friends and your family, or if you're not a very big company and you have limited resources, this is the perfect opportunity for that. Some of the applications that this has, you have a MySQL server from the NAS. So not only can you have your own web server, you can have a web service. You can actually have a web service via this NAS. In an iTunes server, you can have all your iTunes music on the NAS, and all the computers on your network will be able to share that music together via iTunes. And you have a universal plug-and-play media server. What that means is that your smart TVs, your PlayStations, your Xboxes will be able to read videos, music, and audio, music, pictures, and movies, whatever you want. They can read those files from the NAS and view it remotely, which is really cool. So you can put all your home videos on the NAS and play it throughout all the devices on your network. That pretty much covers the control panel. Now, the storage manager gives you some information on your hard drive. Is it encrypted? Is it not encrypted? How big of it is it? Does it pass smart testing? You can make hard drive groups. So I have 2 hard drives in this currently, a terabyte and a 350 gig drive. I have these each set up in single disk formation, so the NAS reads each one individually. But what you will want to do more than likely is have it in a RAID 1 mirroring group. So you have 2 identical drives in the NAS, and it allows you to write from whatever you write in one hard drive, it's going to mirror onto the other one. This is called redundancy. So if one hard drive fails, you can plug in another hard drive and it'll mirror over, and then you won't lose any of your data. This is the safest way. Then you have RAID 0 striping, which is you have 2 hard drives. You just merge it into one hard drive and it increases the speed. The downside of this is if one hard drive fails, all your data is gone. All of it. And then you have a JBob linear disk group. I'm not entirely sure what that is. I'm sorry. I really don't know. But each of these groups, you can enable encryption on it. So that means you'll need a password to decrypt it. This is the safest and securest way to handle your hard drives. This means you need to keep your password safe and secure though, and don't lose it. That is important. You can mount the hard drives. As you can see, here's the encrypted file systems. I don't have mine encrypted right now. You could have iSCSI. I'm not quite sure what that is, but there is that. And then you have a virtual disk. And on top of that, you could put in, there's a USB port in the back of the NAS that you can plug in an external storage device and even increase the storage on the NAS even further. Now we have this backup area. You can have the NAS as a remote backup time machine for Macs, or as an rsync backup for anything else, which means that it will, this is from the client side. On the computer side, you could designate files to back up to the NAS, and it'll always keep those 2 files in sync between the NAS and the files on your computer. So if you ever are interested in that. And then TCloud, I do not have any users for TCloud, but you could create special users, and then you could log in via the TCloud service from tcloudme.com. And then you can see some system statuses, your IP address, and resources from there. So this is the general interface of the Terra-Master. It gets the job done. I like it. It has a lot of features, especially for NAS that's in this budget-friendly category, and it doesn't have like the most advanced features, but this NAS is targeting home users like myself that don't want to mess with all the technical data and just want to plug it and play it and have everything set up. So this is what this is for. The web interface is great. You know, it allows you to handle different users and have quotas. This allows all of that, and I think that's very important. And I really like the interface. I like this TCloud interface. If you like this video, go ahead and click the like button. It helps me a lot. If you didn't, click the dislike. Also, comment down below on a NAS. That if you use a NAS, if you're looking into a NAS, what NAS do you want? Then share and subscribe to me. I appreciate that a lot. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Be safe and peace out.